Welcome back to the Eric Krown crypto channel, coming at you from a completely different angle, and that means the content is going to be completely fresh. No, what's more important today is the question of the day, which is, will it hold? And of course, when it comes within the context of this particular thread of analysis that we've been having over the past couple of weeks, what is essentially happening within the grand scheme of things? Essentially, is $36,000 still on the table, or is lower prices more likely at this particular moment? Anyways, other than that, I wanted to once again humbly request that if you find this content valuable, please do consider liking the video and then also hitting the old bell icon as well. And with that said, we can just jump right into it, starting off right on over here with the daily time frame. Yesterday, we were looking at potential regular bullish divergence coming off of that last daily closure. That did not happen in this case, but what is more important for the short term is that the 12-hour time frame is actually printed hidden bearish divergence in this case, 1, 2, 3 drive variety, coming off that last high. Technically not confirmed right now, although I would say that's more of a formality in this case. And we have our third lower high within the last, I believe it is a couple weeks now. Yeah, going back to about the 12th of May, so almost 2 weeks in this case. But we have high number 1 right here, lower high, so on and so forth, alongside hidden bearish divergence. Typically not the best setup, and probably does officially test the bottom side of the range in the mid to low $26,000 territory. I mean, we've gotten pretty damn close to that already, so it's not super helpful in this case, but ultimately the same range as before, as we'll go into it in a second, which I believe will be best had right here on the 4-hour time frame HPDR indicator. And let me just get rid of everything. We can just make this one nice and simple. It's the same range as before, obviously. Yes, you can still see that 27,650 has slightly moved down from 27,750 for yesterday's upside pivot for just a continuation play, meaning that if Bitcoin could just trade back above that region, be very easy to get bullish for actually significantly greater extensions to the upside. But in this case, pressure is once again on to the downside. On the 4-hour time frame or on the lower term time frames, technically bottom side of the range is about 26,000, just below 200. Just below 26,200 or so, with the median coming in right around 26.9. Now, these numbers will pop up a little bit later in today's analysis, but a lot of them are going to be pivoted pretty much where we're at right now, 26,750. So that is going to be the big one for the end of the day, as we'll get into later. But before we do that, I do want to call out another one of these kindergarten patterns. Although it is probably my favorite one. If I have to pick a favorite pattern, is the descending and ascending triangle varieties, of which we have a bit of an ascending triangle right on over here. And of course, these do have a higher probability breakout to the downside than the upside, and there is an implied move to be made off of this as well, which would be pointed down towards mid $25,000 territory. This is on CME, by the way, although it's pretty much trading at parity with spot, and would also kind of fulfill a test of that 200 moving average right here. You can see that moving average starting to creep upwards and onwards. Now that will of course be fulfilled if Bitcoin does close below about 26,500 on 12-hour time frame, or 26,200 on a 4-hour time frame. And at that point, that's going to set into a domino of effects a lot of other things. Now, until that happens, however, it's just the same as before. Bula still have a chance, but right now the ball is actually going to shift back into the bear Oz court, as they're just a little bit closer actually getting that break here. Now keep that in the back of your mind, and we're going to go over here to stochastic momentum and see what it looks like kind of going down at the general time frames. And on the daily, we can actually see that the current pivot is 26,300. So again, kind of aligning, like right in between the 4-hour and 12-hour pivots that I just gave. But you can see that, momentum will actually remain to the upside as long as Bitcoin is above that region. So it would imply that there's actually another basing that we have going on right here. 12-hour time frame is going to be showing, it's going to be showing fucking nothing. Is what it's going to be showing. 26,730 is the current pivot. Basically exactly where Bitcoin is at right now. And that's a lot of what we've seen over the past week, where the momentum pivots are pretty much exactly where price action is, and they're just not really shifting around, which is making it kind of unhelpful, which means that we have to reference the higher term timeframes, but those obviously and naturally take a longer time to play out and spread out. 6-hour time frame is going to be showing well, currently downside momentum as long as Bitcoin's below 27,250. So that one's a little bit more conclusive in this case. But the 4-hour time frame, as we'll go into, is going to be showing actually 27,350. So also on the same side. So again, very, very short-term time frame, 6, 4, and maybe even the 1-hour time frame. Yeah, showing downside momentum as long as we're basically below 27,000 bucks, with the hourly coming in 26,750. So the real question is, do the lower term time frame momentums take it down below the daily momentum level? If it does, well, then we go to our next, our next presumed move into the lower $25,000 territory. Until that happens, however, I'm just very remiss to be making any sort of like a conclusive statement right now with the way that things are looking, because, well, this range can go on a little bit longer actually. But what I would say now is that if boo laws are going to take over, it probably does take more time. I do believe that yesterday and the day prior were kind of the Bitcoin boo laws. That was the opportunity. If they were going to take over, really should have seen it happen on yesterday's move with Bitcoin, getting back around the mid $27,000 territory. That didn't happen, obviously. Anyways, moving on now into the 2-day time frame, I wanted to once again follow up on this analysis here because there are a few things to be aware of. So first and foremost, when we're looking at the volatility indicator, the BBWP right here, it is actually contracting yet again. Now the moving average is still in an expansive posturing, and I got a lot of questions about this yesterday because, well, a lot of people have noticed that, the BBWP itself did take a massive downturn. Yes, indeed. And that closure is actually coming tonight. So, assuming nothing super crazy happens, it actually will do that. But what I have said and what I have noticed, and what I like to say just to like a generalized audience right here, is that usually when I see a signature like this, where it comes down sharply first and then bases off maybe once or twice, in this case we have, one major base right there, usually it takes off from that region. So I do think that this one is actually still very, very mature and still very, very close. But if you want to read it by the book, it would imply more consolidation actually, which well, fair enough, man. More waiting. We've already been here for like 2-3 weeks. What's another few weeks, huh? No, I do still think that this one does push on through, but that's my personal observation. I don't have like hard data to support that. That's just, from looking at this for a very, 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 very long time. But I'm trying to see if I can find an easy one on this particular time frame here. And yeah, we have one over here, quickly comes down, bases again for a longer period of time, and then big explosive move. And those are typically very, very big moves. Let's see, can we find another one though, like a good one? This one's just touch and go. No. Yeah, not on this time frame. We don't actually have too many of the examples that I'm looking for, unfortunately. I'm not seeing anything, and I'm already back into like 2011, so that's not going to be happening. Anyways, going into it here, the reason why it's relevant is because the current 2-day time frame stochastic momentum pivot is 26,750, and 26,750 is again where all the lower term, or a lot of the lower term and medium term time frame pivots are. So it's like, hey, if Bitcoin closed right around here, it turns back down. Do probabilities shift in favor of the bears yet again? Yeah, it would. It very likely would. So I'd still want to see that with an actual range break, it minimum below about 26,500 on a higher term time frame closure, or 26,200 on a lower term time frame. But one of those two things would expedite that decision for me. And at that point, we can start to look at these statistics as a lot more relatable to the downside, which is still very much viable over here if we can find them. But yeah, the average move based upon this particular signature has been about 27% over the course of 19 days. So, we'd still be looking at, I guess, like early to mid June at this point, 27%. There's going to be some variance within that with the standard deviation of 9% or so. So we're talking about like upper teens versus mid 30s as far as the general range. If it happens to the downside, we're probably looking again, I think a little bit below 25, somewhere closer to 24.8, 24.9 region would be a potential area of interest for, another low to be printed. At least that's where I want to be cognizant of. And then if things really get crazy, somewhere between like 21 to 22,000 bucks. And then of course, if it does come to the upside, still 36,000 bucks is actually on the table there, as that would be the upper end of that trajectory. A more reasonable estimate on that would be maybe closer to 34,000 bucks, but giving us a range within that coming into, early, maybe mid-June here. But I expect that we're going to be waiting a little bit more. Unless if we get resolution to the downside today. I mean, that I don't think we're obviously not going to see upside resolution today, but downside resolution would be the thing to be mindful of. If Bitcoin starts to close below these pivots, that would be a good early warning signal. And then I want to be aware of the bottom side of the range right here. And do keep in mind that hidden bearish divergence coming off of 3 successive lower highs. Yeah, I mean that's a little more on the concerning side. So I'll leave it right there. And as we can see, the probability shift back in favor of the bear odds here as the range continues to tighten. I know that this has been massively fucking frustrating, as it has been for myself as well, just because, there hasn't really been much new to be speaking about for quite some time now. But usually after 3, you do get your resolution pretty damn soon. So I do think that we're still on track for this week. And I think I'll leave things right there. You know where the pivots are. You know where the major things are. To the upside, Bitcoin can essentially reclaim $27,000. That would be a damn good situation for the Bulas. Until then, actually, it's time to be mindful of a bearish break here. All right, sweet. Good place for me to be leaving off. As always, probably should give a bit more of a notice to the buyback motion going on. However, more importantly, and I think more relevant to more people, is the Apex exchange, because I know a lot of people are looking for another non-KYC exchange. Why would you be doing that? I don't know. But they do have an essential exchange arm called Apex, which you can find an affiliate link to in the description below. It gives you 5% off of your lifetime trading fees, so you may or may not be interested in that. And I will leave things right there. Take care, much love, and see you hopefully tomorrow.